Hello, I'm Dave Karger. Welcome to Turner Classic Movies. Last Monday, we kicked off a two-part spotlight called Battle of the Fake Bands. Tonight, I've got the second half of our fictional rock group extravaganza. Up first is a film inspired by a true story that won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. From 2000, written and directed by Cameron Crowe, it's Almost Famous. This is a coming-of-age story about a teenage boy named William Miller growing up in San Diego in the early 1970s. When his older sister leaves home, she gives William her collection of rock and roll albums, promising that they will change his life, and they do. He discovers a passion for rock music and starts writing articles about his favorite bands, which leads to a job at 15 years old, writing for Rolling Stone magazine and touring the country with a fictional band called Stillwater. Cameron Crowe based Almost Famous on his own experiences growing up as a rock music aficionado who really did become a music journalist for Rolling Stone when he was 15. He got to interview the likes of Bob Dylan, Neil Young, and Eric Clapton, and he spent 3 weeks on the road with the Allman Brothers Band when he was 16. The film is filled with memorable characters, quotable lines, and wonderful music, particularly Elton John's Tiny Dancer, which became one of the singer's most beloved tracks thanks to its inclusion in this film almost 30 years after it was originally released. Almost Famous is a loving tribute to the rock and roll scene of the 1970s, as seen through the eyes of a teenage kid who knows how lucky he is to be a part of it. As I said, Cameron Crowe's screenplay won him the Oscar, and the movie was also nominated for Best Film Editing and for 2 of its stellar supporting actresses, Frances McDormand, who plays a character based on Crowe's mother, and Kate Hudson in the role that made her a star. From 2000, also with Billy Crudup, Jason Lee, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and 17-year-old Patrick Fugit in his film debut, this is Almost Famous. Cameron Crowe wrote and directed Almost Famous and based the movie on his own experiences as a teenage rock journalist writing for Rolling Stone magazine. The characters in the film were inspired by people he knew, and in some instances, he didn't even change their names. Lester Bangs, the character played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, was the editor of Cream magazine, and their relationship was very similar to the one that's depicted in the movie. After his early career as a rock journalist, Crowe began focusing instead on writing books and screenplays, but music has always played an important role in his work as a filmmaker. His 1989 directorial debut, Say Anything, features one of the most iconic musical moments in any film, with John Cusack holding up his boombox blasting Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. And more recently, Crowe has written and directed several music documentaries about Elton John, Pearl Jam, and David Crosby. Up next, a motley crew in Dublin joins forces to form a soul music band in a 1991 film directed by Alan Parker.
Next on TCM, The Commitments. Then, ladies and gentlemen, The Fabulous Stains. And later, The Last Waltz. Hop on the bandwagon with TCM tonight.